Remember the once powerful uniting calls: our country, one federation, one industry, one union. An injury to one is an injury to all. Has the harsh demands of modern economy from the union movement tore it apart? These voices have become hollow, and it has been very silent. The government of national unity presents an interesting dynamic. For organized labor, as ideologies and interests of different political parties in this formation tend to find some expression that might or may not favor the workers' interests. So, the question to be answered today: are the workers better served in the government of national unity? Comrade Power Pasais, yeah?
Yeah.
He is the General of Secretary of the National Enterprises Workers Union ya Africa Batho. Yeah. Going back to the basic, he's here. And he's here today to provide us with an insight on this issue. But before engaging him, we would like to thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for the input that we're actually getting. You know, I think as a community, we're really getting somewhere in terms of being able to talk about these issues that are of importance, and also that have got an impact on marginalized people, such as Sitleli Njela, comrade. So please subscribe, share, like. Let's become a community and let's talk. I've got Comrade Power here. My comrade.
Surely that.
I like it when you call me Mbogoto.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I like that. You know, for some reason, I had to really ask someone to say, hey, as you know, there's this comrade thing with Mbogoto. And I wanted to actually understand, okay, so the Mbogoto part, but for me, it actually translates to the respect that you have for women.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how you see women from organized labor point of view. You don't find that often. Let's be honest, Con. You know, and it was very refreshing to be introduced to you, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think your humility as a leader transcends beyond what I think you stand for. Because it is that humility that has made you to be able to actually understand how to go back to the basics.
Yeah.
And serve the interest of workers. Now, the government of national unity, come.
Yeah.
I think that was my brief introduction. Welcome to the Forum of Marginalised Industries.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having us. Look, you must understand, we've been people who are very much avoiding media and all those things.
I get you, Ko.
Because we are not those of phonetic politics, populace and politics of celebrity and everything. It tends to take away the main objective from oneself or the organization entirely, wherever you will be operating in any organization. Because now, from time to time, you'll want cameras to follow you when you're doing good.
Sure.
You want cameras to enter Alexander because you're in Alexander. You're going to make sure that people of Alexander, you are delivering water, a service that it's in vacuum. Sanitation is not proper in Alexander. But now, as a leader, as an activist, you feel that you are ordained when cameras are following you. So we've been very much shy to do those things. Because we have many of
Paul.
them
I get you,
in that
Paul.
in
Yes,
that landscape.
Yes.
There's a Bible verse, man, I can't quote it in a verbatim, where it's reprimanding oneself that why do you need to pray and be in public and call everyone in corners that here I am, I'm praying. It's actually reprimanding that, look, talk to your God in your own corner, have that spiritual intervention in a format of understanding the communication between yourself and God.
I get you.
Why don't we practice that? In politics, by the way, is way of life.
There's
this quote that if you don't do politics, it's going to do you. And it can do you in various ways.
Yes.
It can do a little child who's going to kindergarten, a mid-school child. It can do umama, grandmother. It can do the father or mother in various ways. Because remember, we are buying bread in spaza shops controlled by politics. The price of bread is controlled by politics. The spaza shops that we're crying about now, that we are seeing that they are infiltrated by this other nation. I don't know whether it's Bangladesh or Pakistanis, but those people, because they are with same color, we just say Pakistan. It's controlled by politics. Because for us to arrest that kind of condition, political intervention needs to kick in. For us to go and affect the price of petrol, it's political intervention. So in a nutshell, it tells you on many fronts, everything. If you want to go and enroll in any higher learning space, this is a political intervention. So everything is centered around politics. But you get youth who, for some reason, I won't say confused, but who have divorced the political participation, saying, no, I'm not a politician. To participate in politics, you don't have to be a politician. You don't have to be an activist.
Because it affects your bread and butter issues after all.
Exactly. In actual fact, we should barometer politics in a pastel tool.
I get you.
Because it will run politics, it will run environmental, it will run your socio, which is social economy, it will run economy, it will run technology and legal. That is pastel. So, to a layman or a person who says, no, I'm not a politician, should forever participate using that tool to say, how am I affected on a decision which was taken last night by a president on TV?
And mina engingayinaki.
Exactly.
Yes, because mina angiyinaki, because I'm thinking, okay, so what does this have to do?
Because
what does this bill, what does this policy have to do with me?
Yes, you are thinking, no, this is for politicians.
I get you.
That's why you see now these comrades who, yes, tempt politicians will forever be or will always tap into the state resources unwarranted, unaccounted, because there's no one from the community who's saying, no, by the way, you are not there to enrich yourself. You are there to come and serve us as the community. Some of us, we have given you that role because we have seen that you have leadership skills within the community. Yours is to come and account to us. But because those comrades, they've already identified, there's no interest, there's a lack of interest. More especially from youth. I'm saying from youth because the youth is the ones which can run a revolution for us. It has happened in many countries. You get my point? If we out to change things, youth must participate fully in politics and not by voting. Because political parties which are there now, they only need the youth when they are going to vote. They don't need their ideas. They don't need their brilliant ideas. They don't need their intervention on how to change the landscape of politics. By the way, what are we speaking about? We're speaking about our way of life. Is politics. If we divorce politics from how we live, we then lose the moral compass of how we're supposed to survive, because politics are running us from international level up until down here. So these ones of youth these days, they are limited to an extent of voting. Some who have identified that, okay, it's only voting that I'm allowed to partake in. Then what is the use? Let me just leave this and go and venture into business. And then when you go and venture into business, you still meet politics.
And hard.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a very rude awakening.
Yeah.
When you get into business, because that's another mainstream where you're actually getting into, and when you get into without really being informed or being ill prepared, your wake up call is bad, Baba.
Correct.
It is bad in such a way that you find business failing.
Yeah.
How many businesses in this country are actually failing simply because I think we get there with the notion of ukuzama. Yeah, you get it, but you can't blame people as well, because the current socioeconomic situation in this country, if you look at the jobs that have been lost, and we're going to get to this government of national unity as well in terms of the context of our discussion, is that you have to do anything or something for you to be able to actually survive. Because it's bad.
Yeah, no.
No. It is bad, and we cannot really even sugarcoat to the fact that even the middle class has just not become. There's no middle class any longer in this country.
But they still feel like they are middle class, because driving from here, if I'm from Johannesburg, I'll pass Midrand and that side, Woodmead. There's a whole lot of residential projects.
Sure.
Yeah, specifically with the middle class in mind.
Sure.
Because those are the ones that you can deal with them fast. Once they start working and then they pay a townhouse of 8,000 to 12,000, and then they drive a nice Polo or TSI paying 6,000, 7,000, or GTI 10,000, they feel like they've arrived. But they don't know.
It's like a skeleton.
Yeah, like you was fucking king it.
Just fucking.
Up until the next thing you go home in the villages, you look at your aunt, you think she's bewitching you. No, you wished yourself, because you took a decision of saying that you want to stay where then when you enter, people must respect you because you are staying somewhere in Woodmead or Waterfall Park.
I get you.
What happened
living
above your means of income.
Because that.
Let me say this. The banks are rich because of this middle class you just touched.
Yeah.
Because they approve the credit requests from the middle class in terms of your car finance, vehicle finance, home loans, bonds, and these things, the credit cards.
Sure.
But we'll get into the issue of the home loans. But the vehicle finance, I'm telling you, drive down N1, they buy, is it Malibong or Bayers Nodi? It's a huge, big building of West Bank. It's very beautiful. It's coming from where? They didn't just buy it and say, let's build this building. It's coming from profits of vehicles that were being offered to our black brothers and sisters. Let me just say that because it's previously disadvantaged. Sure. It's not to say that I'm being racist or whatever. You get? And all of them, they made profit for West Bank. And West Bank could build that building. You get?
Yeah.
They tie us into assets that we don't necessarily need. Which brings me to a topic where I needed to visit Saika to go and change this notion of a vehicle being an asset. Because I told them, I wrote to this other fellow man, I forgot their name, but I said to him, man, I must sit down with you, because now I think vehicle must go and take it to liability, man. Because one, you purchase it on hire purchase. Okay, don't get me wrong on anyone who said, no, I bought it cash, is fine, you're fine then. On hire purchase. Every month they need an installment. It is coupled with an insurance premium of every month. It comes with a tracker premium of every month. you must pour petrol on that car. There's a wear and tear that you need to visit the garages, the dealer garages, to make sure that wear and tear maintenance, it's in order if you want the car to survive. Service issues and all those things. So, in a nutshell, that car alone, for personal use, it is nothing but sulking you dry from each and every cent that you have. It is not multiplying anything. So one of my good friends who's a CA said, no, Mara, you cannot want to class a vehicle as a liability or something.
Yeah.
Because I get the notion from, I think the standard is IAS 16, plant property and equipment. It has classified it like that. So it's one of those things of indoctrination where you find Uguti more cooler, but humble Sunday school. After Sunday school, youth. Once you're ordained on youth, you'll be young adult. From there, you become umama, a women's league, then you must die. So no one is questioning Uguti Mara, how can we do things different?
Marakom, how does a depreciation become an asset?
Exactly.
You know, how does a depreciation become an asset?
Because that asset that we're talking about of the vehicle goes down.
Exactly.
You get
exactly.
We don't have a problem again on classification, which why is it going down only? The other leg it should be, is it generating income? So one of the vehicles that we can say adopt as assets is those ones of panel vans, panel kumbis, because those ones, their intention is to make sure
there's
that
returns.
Exactly.
There's returns.
Exactly. But a GTI, a Mercedes Benz, for me to be called Power Posa is a general because he just got off V300. I'm not saying I don't like the car. I like it, but I'm saying what we have been dogmat on, it's a very, very painful one, because we can only measure you with the kind of material that you have.
No, I get to come. GNU.
Yes.
Political parties coming together, different ideology, interpretation in terms of their manifestos, in terms of what they stand for, what they believe in. They're coming together to form a unity. And it's over 100 days now. And at first, organized labor, there are some factions that decided that we're going to go for the government of national unity. We are hoping that we're going to be seeing progress. But some of them had warning signs to say that, you know what, there is this formation, but in terms of ideological thinking, in terms of our approach, we differ. And how does that really translate to policy issues? How does that really translate to what we were talking about now? Linking to the conversation that we had in terms of bread and butter issues. The union space in that regard. Am I going to be correct to come because you need to be able to put me in the right direction because it's your speciality? That it's not really finding a good enough expression in terms of the role that it seeks to play within the GNU.
Yes, correct. I mean, to start with, I don't know, Guti, this GNU, what does it entail? You know why? Because the comrades who are in that type of an arrangement, as you spoke of ideology and everything, their political ideologies are way different. Let's start with maybe this one of the mass-based church organization like your Congolos. Its formation from way back, 1912. It was formed through the chiefs, Amakosi Atlangeni, because it was during that time when the Boers were rife on us. So they met to form an organization that will liberate the black community at large. But when they placed their policies, they said non-racism, non-sexist, we're going to live together and all those things. Because that approach was that we are not fighting anyone who's in the land. Specifically like saying whites must go back, one bullet, one settler. No. Theirs was moderate approach. But now they come to this freedom chart of saying free education for all, free health care and all those things. These comrades, with the current political parties that they are in a relationship with, they don't speak that language. The DA doesn't speak anything of free education. They actually are the ones who are advocating for parents to pay for their kids. You know what? They are coming from a background where everything is fine. Even a dog can eat a pollen. I'm coming from a village. A dog eats after I've eaten. If there was any food that warrants that there's a bone inside the plate, I'll give the dog the bone.
True.
They buy specifically meat for the dog, and they even buy bread for the dog. And at times they will tell you, no, this dog cannot eat such and such bread. It will make it sick. There's a specific bread that is produced somewhere in these supermarkets of Spars or Checkers that must go to the dog. So those people, it tells you, Guti, abanayo inhlupeko. Then let's go and enter Mshongo or Lusaka in Mamelodi or Alexander or Ratanda and see the hardship of our comrades, of the black community. Uguti, there's a reality that we must face. There's a child headed home. A primary, not even high school, a primary, grade 7 or 6. Mele ayenzini anakekela abantwana bakibo. There are maybe, let's say, 2 or 3 of them. Lo mntwana mele agezele abantwana kuqala. After that, asgeze, then go to school. Didn't eat anything last night. When she arrived at school, or he, still there's no food. And then you expect ukuthi thina abantu bamnyama we go and meet these whites and say let's work together on this government. A government which we hoped it will deliver and go and rescue those children. A government which we hoped and deliver it will go and rescue our gogo who cannot walk to the hospital or to the nearest clinic. Now, why am I saying to the nearest clinic? There's not even nearest clinic. They walk serious kilometers. Let me tell you, whether we like it or not, white people are previously advantaged, including even now. They don't suffer that much compared to our people. What we need to do, first point of departure, to go and unpack this thing of GNU, is to go to communities pound for pound and check how black people are living versus the white people. White people are well. We must not lie to ourselves. These are comrades who, their pension. I've never seen a white person INZQ a pension. Mina mankhula umdende. Gogo wami bekathatha asiye emdendeni because they were going to for like you. So that he can get. White people don't do that. Systems are very well. They can they can access many things of economy very well. Why are you in bed with such people? Why do you need to go and draft a document which says no, we will govern together because for some reason opportunistically so we have lost numbers, then we must see who's the better devil and all those things. There's black progressive political parties that Congolese could have worked with, but still now these ones we call them black progressive political parties. No one wants to be led. Everyone wants to be a leader.
But that's exactly where I was actually coming at.
We have a conundrum.
That's where I was actually coming to indicate that it wasn't as if there wasn't a call. That everybody should sort of come together and bring their ideas and form this unity that is being termed and a formation that is going to govern the country.
Yeah.
But going back in terms of what you were actually referring to, with regards to disparity, in terms of what they stand for and what others stand for and what they should be going forward, do you find that workers in the midst of that, because when we talk about workers, we are talking about bread and butter issues, but we are not even let's forget Mercedes-Benzes, let's forget what even Mercedes-Benzes are affected, by the way, in this economy. But now I'm talking about somebody that we know in industries that are very vulnerable, that are earning 6,000 rand, that are earning 5,000 rand, or even 4, going, or 4,000 going down. Those people, with the current arrangement and the union coming into the space, do you think that the union is going to be able to play an intricate role right now, when you've got diverse mindsets from a political ideology point of view, in being able to sway the current economy to be worker friendly? Because let's be honest, the current economy is very hostile towards workers. It's favoring business more. And you're entering into a relationship where there is this disjuncture that is happening. So how do now unions come in and say, shoo, sizwe, wage increases now, come, go back. It's 1 digit. When have you last achieved double digits? Come. When have you? We
have to intervene strongly with comrades at Nedleg.
Sure.
We have to bring them to speed. Firstly, this is what we need to do. We need to root out comrades who move around with the perception of perceiving to be activists of workers, or saying that we are comrades of workers. You find them with that old head that was weared by those ones at the mines, saying that we are shop steward. We need to take them out, because the only reason they are in politics of labor is to enrich themselves. So it's difficult when you are in a revolution to change the landscape of workers, only to find out there's people who are having witchcraft meetings at night with the capital. You see what you just said? We need to go back to our side first. Root out these ones who are actually culprits inside our camps, and then we can face capital. Because with them in our midst, it will be very difficult to challenge capital. Who has challenged this thing of two-pot system coming from, say, union activists, which were been there for a very long time? Why are we existing ourselves as Neuya, a union which, when we entered space, we were told, you are nothing, you are not registered, we don't even know you, and all those things? Why did we even exist if there was activists in labor space who are really championing the issues of workers? It's because a vacuum was left. Those ones were then guignat, chowed by what? Capital. These comrades, you'll be surprised, they have entered into a market of capital. They are investing in malls. Once you are a union, you have invested in mall, irrespective of the fact that you are encouraged, right, by policies that no, you must not just have subscriptions lying around. At least make sure that you grow the union money, but investing in malls, investing in petrol garages, and you are becoming an employee, you're a capital yourself. So the day we're saying we're calling an embargo on a petrol price, you're going to be the first one to fight, because capital, the white people who are in charge, they are going to call you. Your people who want to create 1, 2, 3. You say, no, don't worry, I'll deal with them. You go and make a statement on TV, and then they Cindy interview you, and then you say, no, we're not going there. That is not our common goal. It's not our ideology, differing with another black brother who's fighting for workers on the ground. And so we need to go, before we jump to GNU, before we speak of GNU, we need to deal with these ones of ours who are just there to eat. They are the problem for us.
Sure.
In all political parties, in actual fact, there's people who are staff riders who just went in to go and make sure that they enrich themselves or they keep on eating. Those are dangerous people within our midst, because they've lost the crankshaft center of objectives within the revolution. We have to improve the workers' struggle, the poor of the poorest, the ones that you spoke about, of earning 4,000. Is it right that where we are now, there's cleaners in Transnet and Eskom earning less than 4,500?
In Transnet and Eskom?
Yeah. Through the service providers. Let's leave the issue of insourcement.
Sure.
Is it right? Well, we have cases of high level of corruption in the parastatals. Is it right that we have workers in the municipalities like City of Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, Johannesburg, earning less than 6,000? But when you get the cases that are there of corruption, we're speaking millions and millions, that if filtered or maybe populated amongst those cleaners that we speak about, they could be paying everyone 15,000 home. There's a lady, let me give you an example, came in our office. She was hired by Human Settlement as a cleaner of Human Settlement permanently. Luckily, we call it luckily because that is the struggle we're pushing, that leave these things of service providers, at least come in, and we're pushing it with what? With the governments, the parastatals. They are the ones who can champion that. But they are reluctant. I agree, they know that is their way of making sure they extort serious millions. That woman, first month they gave her 15,000. Yeah? Basic salary. Second month, third month, fourth month, then they take her out. They say, no, you were not permanent in actual fact. We just put you under government because the service provider that was here happened to leave and we couldn't appoint anyone fast. So her and the other colleagues, because they were 8, they were taken by government so that the government offices can keep on being clean and all those things. But after 3 months, they were taken out. From 15,000, she went back to 4,200. Now, what I just said to you now, for sure it doesn't make sense. In terms of what do you call business sense for her and all those things. But that happened because someone is saying, reverse those things. How do you take these people knowing very well these are our cows behind the closed doors? We need to milk there. When you are making these people permanent. People who are fighting for in-source, politically and otherwise, some of them, they are in government. They don't champion that thing. You ask yourself. But the time they were outside, they were making a whole lot of noise. They are in. They can't do anything. So we are not saying that, for example, they must have a ministry which champions in-source in that specific ministry they are. But isn't it that when you are a minister, for example, of police, you tend to have meetings with other ministers. You tend to have meetings with a minister of finance. What stops you to advance the same policies of your organization on the other side? This goes to even MMCs. You can't say, no, we were given MMCs, but we were not given that one of safety. That's why we can't take all securities inside. So, because that has been your program and it has been your ideology, isn't it? Why can't you engage the other person, Uguti, instead of engaging the person on the level of tender? Uguti, no, look, we have, as a municipality in Ekurhuleni or Johannesburg, we have over 1,000 security workers on different sites. Please take them in as permanent. Here are the systems of HR that must run. Here is the employee benefit that must coupled with it. Let's engage from that level and let's see what could happen. That doesn't happen. So GNO, if we jump to it, Cindy, is going to confuse us. It's a new monster that is worsening the economy of black people, and it's done. It's orchestrated by the very same black people who stood before the masses while they were having anything, and they said, I'm going to be frank. I don't know if this thing you're going to take it public. Let it be. Go and take Mbalula when he was before Youth League, or when he was in Youth League, his speeches, and take him now.
It's a different tone.
Yeah. Check the kind of T-shirt he was wearing and check the suits he's wearing. Is it correct? We are not advocating that he must be poor. We're saying if he is well, the people that he's coming from, those who made him that he must be where he is, they should be well. And for him it's difficult because it should be national. So you can't say, no, I'm from Mangawu, it means people from Mangawu. Agree, you said you are taking national posture there, you are taking a position in national. So once you buy that suit of Amiri, which is costing somewhere around 50,000, go and make sure all communities are well. We're not saying buy them Amiris, but make sure that abantwana laba engikhulume ngabo that are child-headed homes, abogogo laba that they can't do anything because abana bazukulwana, there's nothing. People have taken by that disease that we know from long time of HIV and everything because of lack of ARVs in clinics. Go and make sure that logogo siyamnakekela. Go and open clinics 24 hours. Go and open clinics 24 hours because at any time women give out body tabi. What about those ones ba Australia? That's pedi ba robile mouth. Ka 3-4 asenjere ka 3-4 ya matsa or 2 o'clock asenjere emele clinic yo bula ka 9-10 to arrive there to be insulted by one of the nurses and saying that no, when I no, it's not.
And you have to be there at 4 o'clock in the morning, by the way, for you to be attended. And when you'll only be attended at 10 or 11. As and when they want to.
Whether it's summer or it's winter, coldness of 4. I'm a casa of 4 o'clock. You're shy. Straight, and you're outside. And at that time you walked. Let's go down to Eastern Cape in Lusikisiki. Very poor environment. We're still behind. We cannot afford to speak of GNU. Why do we even have to entertain this thing that is there to enrich white people? White people are advancing their programs there. With GNU. GNU. Go and check Soltech University, which was created by AfriForum and those ones of, what is this thing? There's this office next to AfriForum. This one next to Afro.
Solidarity.
Solidarity.
Yes, it's Solidarity.
Solidarity. Now they will be strengthening that university must cater only for Bure language. I don't know if you get my point. So from there you can't do anything. Remember, a man is characterized in 4 pillars. And one of it is language. And once you deal with language, you're gone. Language, education, land, culture. White people from way back took these 4 characters from us. Why do you have to enter into a GNU arrangement with people who took the 4 pillars of characterizing you as a man?
So come unions. You said, okay.
In the space of GNU.
They are within, there's certain elements. You said we needed to start somewhere. And you articulated very well in terms of where we actually need to start. Now there is this proliferation of unions that you are finding in this country that organizes in numerous spaces. And all of us, I think all of us come.
Oh my goodness, no. Nyamazan.
All of us. And unions that they are advocating to be representing the interest of workers amongst what is happening within that unity that is called the formation that is actually called. Do you find unions getting a space to be able to actually do that?
No.
Given the dwindling direction that the economy is actually taking. By the way, I'm an optimist. And I think that it somewhere along the line we'll get it. I'm hoping, perhaps you'll correct me when I'm wrong. I'm hoping we'll get something right.
Yeah.
We cannot be all doomsday in everything.
Yeah.
But unions.
Yeah.
Because they are key. They are central.
Yeah.
In being a voice.
Yeah.
Of the voiceless.
Yes.
Do you find them finding an expression with these dynamics and ideologies and policies that are happening, where you find that certain issues, certain political parties are putting certain people into ransom?
No. They are lacking, and it's not about what do you call? In actual fact, we are ourselves from our corner.
Sure.
We are very much proud of ourselves because I always tell my guys that there's only 2 unions that are alive right now. It's Neuer and the rest. I know I'm gonna get a beating from this, but it's true. You know what? These comrades who have been there, man, I call them slap tiger unions. They are no longer having that sense of saving workers from the harsh environment that they are facing on a daily basis. To an extent that even us, when we try to organize in certain workplaces, we are met actually with the reality of response from workers who are saying, no, we don't trust unions anymore.
Yeah.
And if the community can express in that fashion, then you must know there's something wrong. Because communities must be able to appreciate unions as the workers' community, as Abu Muholiba Babu. To say, now, these ones, when they are here, we know things can be advanced in this fashion. And when we arrive at a workplace, we find that there's a union and the workers are embracing that union. Workers should be able to say, even if we have a union, mara siyazi ukuthi nani le ndaba lesibhekane nayo manje ningangena nisize. It's not like that. There's the space. It's a highly contested terrain for numbers. You know what? Because we need to have subscriptions. You get my point. Now, once you have put your weight on subscriptions, you have lost the touch from there of the reason why you were at first an organizer of a union, a shop steward of a union, or a leader of a union. Because you should be driven by the grievances, the challenges that they are facing at workplace, and go and make sure that you advance their interest with the employer, with the establishment. Enter Department of Labor, enter UIF, Compensation House, CCMA, NETLEG if need be. Organize workers, the poor of the poorest, to be able to improve their lives. Not when you look at them, you're looking at a number, you start to multiply, which I'm, it's 2%, 1% of their salary. I'll be here when the situation erupts. I will have moved out. So that person who was a shop steward, who was a union leader, on the other side of capitalize a business acumen. Mount your moves at at that point, I had to start there. Ukulman nonsensical. There's no reasoning that makes sense at that point. Some of them are even taken by this government we're crying about to be deputy ministers and ministers. There's an outcry from this Communist Party now. They are crying of GNU, crying of GNU. I always said, give them a ministry. They'll be gone within a second. If Ramaphosa wakes up very well and say, yes, love and love, that A minister of children and women, give it to a man, the man who's crying. You see. Again, as a car.
To be children and women.
Children and women. You'll hear what's going to happen. Mauya interviewing Ngzoti Cindy, please organize to interview him. He's going to say, no, you know what? The president saw it fit that we must be part of this thing. And then now even the tone change. You're like, what? So for you to be a politician now, the English side of it must. And at that time, he's heading women and children. He just wants minister. There's nothing else. So now the politics that is played now, when someone is making a whole lot of noise and having a serious attention, knowing that media will keep on giving me attention and everything, it's when they want something from that government. It's because they are left out of this arrangement of GNU. People who were supposed to be in the GNU, if let me rather use that are having numbers. Because here's the issue. GNU should have, if GNU was genuine, should have taken everyone who was having bigger numbers than those who are there. Why? Because it's the voters who are saying, we want you to represent us in our issues. It's the community. Now, how do you say people who voted maybe, let's say, 15%, 9, 10%, you leave them outside, you say you'll be opposition, and then you say GNU is for us working together. You come with nonsensical reasoning of saying that no, these ones, they didn't want the Minister of Agriculture, they wanted police, I had to run police. No, it's not like that. It's not supposed to be like that. Bilateral agreements, they should have been encompassed, and then people should have sat down, convened, all of them in one table, and say, how do we run South Africa to be a better place for everyone, for kids, for children. These people, I don't think one interest here, because they don't even think our children are involved here. And you must check the way they treat even the students in universities, giving them difficulties about NSFAS and all those things, saying no, money is not there, money will come out, then they chow the money and all those things. It's just nonsensical. At one stage we saw this woman who's an education minister, when the president is there to come and ordain that Bella thing, to sign it, she didn't arrive. 3 days, if I'm not mistaken, or a week later, she says, no, president must come and attend the teachers' dialogue and everything.
Yeah.
Because in reality, if it was according to me, as per the man of Idi Amin in Uganda, the very same night that she didn't arrive there, I don't care whether she come from DA or whatever, she goes. Same time. He didn't arrive on my event. I'm the president of the country. Who's appointing ministers, by the way? Isn't it the president? I chase her, and then I call your party. I say, give me another person. Because here's the issue that we should understand. The space of appointing cabinet ministers is of the president. So any arrangement that is there, which now we're speaking about of this monster, it should be that it's having its own barometers, it's having its own boundary of saying that we have agreed with DA, for example, to give us 5 ministers. But that doesn't warrant them to come and tap into the cabinet and tell the president how to run the ministers. Happy minister, it's supposed to be one of my insubordinate when I'm a president. Imagine if that person doesn't take cue from me. Same time, why am I saying at night? 30 minutes later, we call you, we say resign on yourself. If not, I'll give you a letter. That's how it's supposed to be. For GNU to be well functioned,
Come.
our president who's sitting in the republic now must he must run this thing with the hand fist. If he is going to be called the very same way he's called whenever there's a problem, like for example with this recent issue that happened in Tshwane, where a mayor of DA was ousted, then DA started crying that no, there will be a very serious turmoil, including going up. Then they are involving GNU. If the GNU was not having DA, I am saying to you, the result of it was going to be that our rent is at the lowest.
Sure.
You know why? Because investor confidence was going to withdraw and say, this is an unstable arrangement. It is an inconsistent arrangement.
By virtue that the other formation is not there. I get
but
you.
now, because these ones of Cape Town, of Stellenbosch, they are on the backing up of this thing. There's nothing of movement of rand that we are seeing. In actual fact, we are seeing, but no, petrol will go down with 1 rand 60. Things are just flowing according to those things of ratings and everything. But if it was an arrangement of, for example, let's say black progressive alone, and threatening each other in this fashion, of saying that a mayor can go, then it must threaten national, what do you call, arrangement, and it put us into a national discourse. The very same night we were gonna get business news saying our rent is at low,
and critiques as well.
Exactly. But there's no critiques now. Let us be honest. We're not saying we love Umsholos or whatever, but the very same critics that were actually partaking during that time of the period of Zuma, they must come back. Not to bring back Zuma. They must come and do their work the very same way they were doing the work during that time of Zuma, so that we can get the truth. It must not be that we are getting filtered truth. Truth which will be, no, give them this information, don't give them this one. Because we must be honest, media is a very powerful tool. Media can make sure that a person who's hated by the community is loved by everyone, including a religious person of pastor.
I'm hoping, Tombi, you are hearing that. Tombi, I'm hoping that she's actually hearing that.
Some of us in our corners, in our caucuses, we at some stage regretted why we went for that Madala, and then we went to Union Building. But some said it was good. Then we were saying, okay, sharp, on 2 fronts is fine. Let us bring those rating house that coming from London, SNP, Modi and everything. Let us bring the Amabungani. Let us bring what do you call, everyone who made sure that they are watchdogs of the government then, and they're telling us, the community, the truth. I agree that time it was the truth. Where are they? Why are they not commenting? Why is GNU not having any critique? No one has ever come and say, yes, the GNU coming from the side of the UK, where we are run fully fledged.
So, just to summarize our discussion, we spoke a lot about, you unpacked exactly what is actually happening, I think, in all fronts.
Yeah.
From a political and a social and mobilization impact.
Yeah.
With regards to where unions are and what seems to be the problem.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, so I think I appreciate your view and honesty.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to say we are looking within.
Yeah.
As comrades, to say exactly where we actually go wrong. But we actually identified the root of the problem. In just having a discussion here, the root of the problem, we are not going to be able to move anyway if there isn't anything that we actually do more corona
from inside
ourselves, future intervening in this space because we are where we are. Unfortunately, we are dictated by the prevailing political circumstances that we are finding ourselves. But you've got leaders such as yourselves that have got another view. I think a view that has always said that why don't we put ourselves first?
Yes.
And in putting ourselves first, and we see how we collaborate together and have meaningful discussions and contribution going forward. Neuya. We are going to be talking about the sectors that you're organizing.
Yes.
In the episode that is coming. Oringi me com now in terms of our conclusion. Phela ke re hey go rekiwe com ke re ba go rekiwe ke re are bonnete com ke re ke re like there's a ish. Hey, there's a lot. You're right when you're saying that workers have gotten to a point where they feel like they don't trust their own unions.
Yeah.
So where do we go back to build the trust?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Look, we have done wrong to not only workers, to the community at large. And to workers, it's every day. There's a good friend of mine who always say, Chief, money comes from the poor. And I'm like, what? And he says, every miner right now as we speak is underground. Who's benefiting? The person who's above. A very simple what do you call equation. The people who are underground the mine are not getting anything as compared to the person who's above the ground. He's controlling those ones who are mining under.
Yeah.
So we have wronged our community, we have wronged our society at large, we have wronged the workers. We need to put leaders who are not attached to capital at all, who don't have the love of money, because that's the root of all the discourse that we're having. You cannot afford to have a leader who says, no, I cannot stay in Mushongo, but I want to run people in Mushongo. The time Mushongo is having problem of water and sanitation, how are you going to know when you are somewhere in Stain City? In a gated community which is highly secured.
Uvalene WhatsApp call.
You get Uvalene WhatsApp, and after that you place your what we call lab dogs. Answer there, and then you can even run meetings and convene meetings and say, why you so bad? Ani next la pae Mamelodi. Who's supposed to do that? I'm not saying I'm better, but I will give you this one, according to me, or the way my number, my cell phone number, this one, it's on the form of the union.
Sure.
You know why? For the reason of saying that no worker must suffer to find me. I must not say, I'm the GS of Neuya, then there's a president who can answer to questions of complaints from workers and everything. We are not perfect, actually. There's a national organizer, there's organizers, there's admins of our office. We operate from Northwest, Mpumalanga, Limpopo, Gauteng, and wherever. But I'm saying I'm putting that number so that I can hear each and every worker complaining. And when that call comes, I'm supposed to apply a notion of sober mind and say, calm down. If I am pressed in any corner, I will forever ask that worker that, please, let me save your number because I didn't have it. Allow me to call you around this time. And if they find me that I'm not busy, there and then, I address that matter.
Sure.
By the way, why I'm doing that? Because I'm preparing myself. I'm going to be the president of this country. I'm going to run this thing. And you know what? Because I don't have businesses. I don't have any business under me which is operating. I tried as a young man to open businesses with CPRO. I thought when you open that, then the CEDA will run and say, hey man, we can see you, we are funding you. And it's not like that. I have to have a brother who's working at government and who likes me and give me business. I didn't know Gucci. I must know this other political what do you call gorilla to give me business and they say, hey man, run fast. We will catch that money on that side, and then when you will keep on driving V3 on the right. So I'm clean. I'm coming to become the president of this country. Clean. I will ride a train to Johannesburg like any other normal person, not a business what is this thing? Business Express. I'll ride they must bring those yellow ones. I am from that field. I'm not speaking because I'm campaigning. No, I'm from that train. From Park Station to Pretoria. From Tembisa when I was in Tembisa. When I was in Atteridgeville, I was riding in that train. I know the hardships of our comrades. I know workers in that train. Looking very weary and tired. It's Monday, it's Tuesday. They are not drunkards. they are sober, they are going to work, but they don't have hope. Umama uthele ushayiwa amakhaza 5 o'clock 6 o'clock in that train. I'm riding that train. The reason I'm going to school, I'm doing for people who will say that I was going to school from Ekas to school. Ulo mama yena driver from Atteridgeville going to town, or maybe at that point when I was staying in Tembisa going to Johannesburg, I met many adults, uncles and aunts to me, ne, who are riding train from Soweto. Umuntu akhona asebenzela somewhere in Silverton. Mele avuke lapha ngabo 3-4 o'clock. Ayo rider from Naledi, for example, Naledi station. Afike Park station abambe le Epitori mele mlahle Pretoria Bosman, Pretoria A, from Pretoria A. Abambe yinyi train. That mama cannot afford to move with the taxi. It's very expensive at that point. At that point, amatex now angenge ayehlise price ngoba mabathi bayancenga, because these are the people who are helping our community. These ones who always steal money, they make sure that the petrol price goes up. I'm coming in, I'll cut those things. I'm going to be the president. I'm repeating so that these people can know. Say kuno munye mankulume begati, hey uthi no muntu, I'm going to be the president of the republic.
Nivile. Comrade Power is coming. But I think it actually surmises at the center of the core our existence and where we're supposed to be going as a country. I have been touched to the core that within the midst of a community and society, we still have individuals such as Sutatuma Uposa. And Tatu Posa, I think, comrade, sure, I'm grateful that I've met an individual such as yourself.
Yeah.
Because the truth is the truth. Palawana, you don't even sugarcoat.
It's supposed to be. Yeah.
You don't even sugarcoat. So on our next episode, I wanted us to really look at the challenges that are really faced by workers.
Yeah.
Because I think you've really infiltrated that space.
Yeah.
Because you saw, like what you said, that there was a gap. So I want us to explore that and be able to really unravel certain things that are happening in industries that people don't even know about. So on that note, I wanted to actually thank you for now.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
And the GS of Neuya,
Yes.
Basebens, there are people still out there that truly believe in being able to empower you. So when you want to reach out, Neuya is here. And for that, please don't forget to share, to like, to subscribe. I under-anticipated this discussion. And it turned out to be exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.